I am joined today by Bob Goff, lawyer, author, and founder of a nonprofit organization that helps children in conflict areas. But most interestingly, at least in my mind, he operates a school for witch doctors in Uganda. Bob Goff, thank you so much for joining us.
Isn't that crazy?
Okay, I know witch doctors are a thing because of my travels around the world, but I think a lot of people here in North America are like, they don't really exist.
Yeah, you'd think that would be from hundreds of years ago, and you have these images in your mind, but actually, witch doctors in many, many countries exist. The reason that we engage this is that they were actually sacrificing children. But nobody in the country had taken on a witch doctor because they're afraid of them.
Yeah.
But we're not afraid of these guys, they're punks. Like Jesus has all the power from everything I've been reading. And so the problem is they're always a victim, but the victim always dies. But there was an attack on a little boy, and we'll just say his name is Charlie, and by the head of all the witch doctors, and his name was Kabi.
And so, yeah, they would take their head, right?
Yeah.
They would leave their head, their private parts, and what was the other thing?
Isn't that crazy? Their blood, their head,
blood,
their private.
yeah, had powers.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
So this little boy, Charlie, was attacked by Kabi.
Yes, and they cut off these private parts. They left him for dead, but the little kid didn't die.
Wow.
And so for the first time, we had the head of the witch doctors, we had a little boy that survived. So I asked the Chief Justice of their Supreme Court if I could try their first death penalty case against this witch doctor. And the Supreme Court Justice said, there's no way you're gonna ever get a judge to take that because they're so afraid. But then we did. And we tried the case, and the word of this conviction goes out to 41 million people.
So you found a judge that would do it.
This scrappy, courageous judge. The crazy part, he let us film the whole trial. It was a crazy, crazy.
You know, I got to comment on this witch doctor thing because I have a friend, he's a missionary in Haiti, and so he deals with voodoo priests, very similar idea. People are terrified of them, and he tells stories all the time of people who get cursed and they're healthy in the morning and they're dead by the end of the day. But he tells me, I'm not afraid because a curse cannot land on a genuine follower of Jesus. And they'll leave things on his porch, and he walks out in the morning, kicks it out of the way, and keeps going on with his day. Nothing ever happens to him.
Yeah.
So faith, do you think, is that a particular protection? Because these are dark powers.
Yeah, I just think Jesus, from what I'm reading, he has all the powers and there's nothing left to divide up amongst anybody else. So divide zero by whatever number you can think of, and you're still zero. So, so the whole idea isn't just engage it. Don't get freaked out about like witch doctors and all that. Just think of people that are insecure like you and I, and that are working that out in different ways. And they may have other people in the room while they're doing it. But the whole idea to just not be afraid. That was the message all the way through scriptures.
Wow.
Be not afraid.
So you did this bold thing, and you actually won your case, and he was sentenced to death.
Yeah, so Kabi goes away to this dark prison. But the little boy, this attack happens with a machete, so he was pretty messed up. But a doctor heard about what had happened. He was actually learning how to fly a beaver up here in Canada, and he heard the person teaching him, told him about the kid, and he lands the plane, calls me and said, I heard about this kid, what happened, and I can fix him. And I'm like, buddy, you didn't hear what got cut off. You can't fix that. And he said, I'm the chief of surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. I can fix him. I'm like, what? Wow. So I drive up there, and he starts drawing on a piece of paper what he's going to do, which is way too much information. I mean, if they find that at the airport, I'm going to jail. And so, but there's something actually beautiful about that. I said, how much would that cost? He said, it would be staggering, but I'll do it for nothing. I'm like, I have nothing. And so, so I flew back to Uganda, and I found the kid, and I became his legal guardian. And we flew him over. We got off the airplane in London on the way back, and we're walking off the plane. He said, Father, could we just walk the rest of the way? I'm like, oh, buddy, no. And I checked my emails, and there's an email. This is when Obama was the president, before we were creating all these problems for everybody. Like, and the email said this, we'd like to meet Charlie. Isn't that crazy? And it's legit. So we flew to Washington, D.C., and this kid that 2 days before was standing in the bush on the border of Congo is now standing in the Oval Office.
Right.
And I just asked myself, like, why does God do that? And I think he wants to blow our minds. We think it's about status and power and all that, and Jesus says it's about kids. And it's about a childlike faith for you and I, too.
I love that. Okay, so we're going to continue the story in just a moment. We're going to find out what happened with Charlie and the surgery as well. You were challenged about Kabi, the witch doctor who was sentenced to death. God says to love our enemies, but he surely doesn't mean someone who killed children. We'll continue that conversation in just a moment.